So hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of AMZ's Corner. How you all doing out there? So I got to start off by thanking you guys. Everyone that donated to Project Charity, right here, man, right here. Thank you so much for that. A lot of you guys donated more than I expected anybody, single person, to donate. Those of you that made the big donations, I owe you guys. I owe you guys. So Project Charity, it's time to get a good look at exactly what we need to get going on this car to get it out of the cabbage and into my brother's hands. Now, I didn't really get into details on the presentation of this car about why my brother needs it. He's having some issues with joint pain. They don't know what exactly is wrong with him. I guess some days he can't even push the blankets off of him and he needs his wife to help him out. And that's tough. He's a father of four, a very good father of four. And there's great kids, great nieces and nephews I have. And Sean, my oldest nephew, is at the age where he needs an automobile. And I think it would be too much of a struggle for my brother, Donnie, to provide that for him. So the plan is Donnie has, I guess, a Nissan Sentra. He lives up in Maine. I don't really see him all that often, maybe a couple times a year. And I guess he has a Nissan up there that was perfect first car for my nephew. And Donnie is going to get this Saab 9000. Why not give the Saab 9000 to my nephew? Well, this thing's a ripper. I mean, this thing, 12 pounds of boost, this thing gets up and goes, and that's not something you want a first driver. And yes, it is one of the 3 safest cars ever made. I've been in a pretty good crash in one of these and came out completely unscathed. And yeah, I think it's going to be just too much to handle, being a 5-speed turbocharged, ripping car for a first-time driver. So we got to get this thing up on the lift because I've never had this car on the lift. We got it from a person who watches the show. Thank you very much, for $300 with a set of Super Aero wheels with some decent rubber. That's right up there, those 4 wheels up there, to get rid of these regular CSE wheels. So yeah, I paid $300 for the car. I know it needs exhaust work because it's loud. We know it needs brake work because we can hear the brakes grinding. And the heater core is blown out and it's been bypassed, so there's no heat. And it's pretty cool out this time of year, especially up in Maine. And there's a pretty major power steering leak. One thing Junior bought, and I actually compensated him for it, is he has this power steering pressure line. So we're going to get this pressure line in today, and we're going to get a good list on exactly what else we need to do to get this thing reliable and safe for a long time for my brother and his family. So anyways, let me get this thing up on the lift, and we'll get our little listy going. Alright guys, we got this thing up on the lift. I got you guys on the handy dandy head cam. How you doing? This is what gives me my Saab haircut, is wearing this thing. But yeah, let's take a look at what we got going on here. First thing we do is I like to get it to about this height and then check like the front end components, tie rods and ball joints, and that's good on that side. Rusty plate bracket, no big deal. Oh, nice and tight. Front end's nice and tight. Tires are junk. That's a junk tire. That tire is marginal. Interesting body repairs. Rivet some sheet metal on. I kind of like it though. It kind of gives the old military aviation riveted look to it, I guess. Fenders are kind of common back here. That could be treated. That could be treated. More of that patching. Everything looks good in the back here. The stainless muffler. Interesting. That tire's junk. That tire is borderline. Ooh, I think we got a frozen caliper here. That's probably what killed those brakes. That's probably why we need brakes. This side looking pretty good. This is all treatable. It's actually pretty good around these wheel arches. Usually these rot out really bad. And then we got that is not as treatable, but I can fill that. We can take care of that little fender spot. And I don't know what was going on here. I think it's got clear coat on it. Interesting. So let's continue. Alright, let's start from the back and work our way forward. So, one trouble area with these cars is right here. These trailing link. If these links are in front of an axle, they're leading links. If they're behind, they're trailing links. And the trailing link mounts on the unibody are kind of a known weak point. And these look like they're starting to get there, but I think we can treat that. We've got about 4 millimeters of brake pad on this side, but as you can see, it moves nicely. And this side, I can't move it. So it looks like we're going to need a caliper. One thing you always want to check is you want to check like the brake lines and the hoses and everything. This might need a brake hose too. And that pad is definitely metal to metal. And that's my problem with the brakes. Might even be able to just open that up and free it up. It looks like the parking brake adjuster is stuck all the way in. Here's that stainless muffler made in South Africa. No kidding. Comes down into the resonator, and there's our problem. There's the exhaust leak. Big old gaping rust hole. So, maybe save this resonator. Might be able to save it. This looks alright. Nice flex pipe. Looks like these hangers need to be replaced. And this here, dripping. That's all power steering fluid here. There's my power steering fluid issue. Now I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pressure line. So we'll be changing that today if we have the right one. Let's look up. We got a blown CV boot. So maybe we'll just put a boot on that. The axle seems all right. This one is okay. The front brakes, we got about 6 millimeters, maybe even more. So the front brakes look pretty recent. The pedal feels good in regards to the front. Reasonably new oil filter. I don't see any major engine oil leaks or coolant leaks. The radiator's nice and dry. It's got upgraded urethane bushings. That's good. That's good. Temp sensor. This is the HVAC temp sensor. That needs to be packaged a little differently. That's not a big deal. There's that Garrett turbo T25. Now the Aero version and all the 98, a year newer than this, would have had the Mitsubishi TD04, which is a great tough turbo. But I think this Garrett makes quicker boost. It's a little smaller, but it definitely comes on to boil a lot quicker. Yeah, not bad. Pretty clean and dry under here for what I've seen these things. 200,000, coming up on 200,000. So yeah, awesome. Project Charity. So a little bit of body work, a little bit of brake work, a little bit of exhaust work, and I think this is going to be a good project car for my brother. I think this is going to be a nice little 9,000 to keep out of the cabbage. It doesn't need to be scrapped, which is probably where this was going to end up. That's a interesting tank strap. It looks like it's holding well. This is that plumber's tape or plumber's hanger wrap, or I think they call it plumber's tape, right, with the holes in it. Meant to be holding pipes to your to the roof of your basement, to the ceiling in your basement. But hey, it works. It works. So yeah, let's make a little list and see what the damage is going to be on this thing. Okay, guys, we got the list here. Project Charity. First and foremost, probably the most expensive thing to fix is going to be this heater core. Heater cores are right about 200 or so, and takes about 3 to 4 hours labor. You don't have to pull the dashboard. These are done under the hood, under the cowl, which is, you know, why it's only 3 to 4, not 8 to 12. My old 9000 had a relatively new heater core that I had replaced on it, and I'm hoping that car's still at the junkyard. For $200 for a new one, I could probably get a used one for 40 to 50. We'll call it $60 out of my old car if it's still there. I don't usually recommend using a used heater core just because of the trouble to change them, but I know that one's still good. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that car's still there. We'll have to take a little field trip and go visit that, my old 9000. It'd be nice to see that. Left rear brake caliper, pads, and rotors. Now, one of you guys made an offer, kind of insistent, that you were going to be shipping me some pads, so we'll hold off on that. The rotor, we'll call the rotor $25. Now, I want to add AutoZone, stepped up a little bit, and they said I could have the parts at cost for this. So these are going to be a little lower. I think a rotor you would probably pay closer to 50 or 64, but we can get that a lot cheaper. So the rotor. The brake caliper is probably going to be, we'll call it 50, right about there. 25 for the rotor, caliper 50. If we need a hose, we'll call the hose. We'll just round it to 20 bucks. So there's the brakes. Exhaust work is going to be really inexpensive. I'm just going to use pieces of old exhaust and bends. So this is more time. We're going to call this $20 plus, oh, we'll give it an hour and a half and be generous. This brake caliper rotor, we'll call that 1 hour. 1.0 labor. Power steering line, I'm doing that now. The line was included in the cost of the car, so that's $0 for parts. Labor, I'm about halfway done. I'll show you that in a second. So we're going to call that 1 hour of labor. Front right CV boot. If I can find the boot for it, it's probably going to be about $20 with the grease. It's probably going to take me about 1.5. So that's where it adds up there. I'm got a calculator handy. I got my phone, trusty cell phone. So we're gonna go $60, 60 plus 25 plus 50 plus 20 for the caliper and the brakes, and then exhaust work we're going to go $20. So oops, click here, plus 20. Oh, exhaust work 20. The power steering included, CV boot about 20 equals, so cheap end we got $195. So $195 in parts, all hinging on that heater core. Labor 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's call it, with everything could go wrong, let's say 7 hours. So it's a day of work, $200. As it stands right now, you guys have given me, oh, I've received so far about 300 from donations, and then another 100 that I know is coming from family members who are sending it because they don't have PayPal, and then a couple other people are sending another 100 the same way. This is fam, this is you guys, the fans. I promised to send it, and this is fan donations. So we have $500 budget. Now that's pretty good. I mean, you guys, there it is on the paper. You guys paid for it. You guys made this happen. I'm not going to get enough to do this on the books. That's why I'm doing this here today. So I'm just going to do the labor for free. To, you know, it's my little piece of it. At least I'll get the video. So I'm in the middle of changing this power steering line. You can see there's the pump. That's where one line is. I actually cut them. This is the line here. Really messy. I cut it with a air-powered hacksaw. Then I can put a deep socket on it. And that line runs way up there. Comes around to another line, or next to another line, and then right there where I have it out. So I just got to fish that out, put the new one in, and then we can cross this right off the block. So that's done. All right, guys, yeah, got that power steering pressure line in. I've already started it up and verified that power steering leak is gone. So first thing off the list. Now we got these rear brakes, and yeah, that caliper's pretty frozen up. I can't get it to release at all. And I also can't spin the rotor. I mean, it's locked up pretty well. So, yeah, I don't have any parts today, and I don't want to buy brake pads if one of you guys is shipping brake pads, so I'm just going to let this go. This car is not going to be driven every day. It's just going to drive back to my house and sit in my yard where the 96 would have been sitting. I own too many cars, guys. I got to juggle cars around. I got to hide this one while this one's in my yard. When this one's out, then this one has to go back in my yard, and it's just kind of a pain in the butt not living where I work on cars, or not having a place where I work on cars. This side seems all right. So yeah, I want to just go over one more thing. We kind of forgot something on our little parts worksheet here, and that the $300 that I had paid for the car, $300 purchase price. I kind of had to put myself out on that. I'm actually paying my rent late this month because I wanted to give Junior that $300, so I really can't afford to do all the work and be here all the time and pay for the car to give away. So that's where that's what you guys did right there. And then the other $200 is going to go for the parts as it sees. So we're pretty good for getting the car going. The trouble is, what good is the car if it can't be, if he can't afford to register it and insure it and swap the registration from his other one? So if you guys wanna help out a little more so we can have some money to register it, and I want to put some money away and hold on to some money for when things go wrong with this car, like the head gasket could go at any time. I'd like to have a couple bucks here pre-ready so he has no trouble with this car for at least a year. I don't want him to have to spend any of his own money to make this happen. Like I said, he's got enough going on. So yeah, if you guys want to help contribute, we still got a lot more work to do. We're gonna have a lot more projects on this car. Plus, I wanna keep tabs on it. Have him come down once every few months. We'll put it on the lift for him. So yeah, it'd be nice to have that burden off of his chest. He's got enough going on right now, and I think we can really help him out, guys. And we'll keep this old girl out of the cabbage for a few more years. So yeah. So that's about it today for this car. Link to the PayPal I'll leave down in the description. And to you guys that gave already, it's huge. It's huge. Yeah, awesome guys, awesome. And I gotta get to work. Enough of this talking about it. Time to make some wrenches turn. So until next time, guys, thanks for all the help. You guys are big. And keep it out of the cabbage.